In the 1990s, an author by the name of John Kabat-Zinn popularized the phrase, "Wherever you go, there you are." Now, he used this from a mindfulness context, essentially saying happiness comes from within and not from external surroundings. Even if you change your external environment, your internal thoughts and emotions will stay the same. You don't have to wait until you reach financial independence to start enjoying your life. You can do that much earlier and start living a life that you love and that's true to you. Welcome to Freedom Before FIRE. Using FIRE and life design techniques, we help you create freedom on your way to FIRE instead of waiting until you're retired to do the things that light you up. I'm your host Greg, a FIRE movement and life design enthusiast. If you're itching to get freedom now, then let's do this. Hello and welcome back. Now, I do have a little bit of a cold this week, so apologies if I sound a little bit bunged up, but hopefully you can still hear me okay through the nasal tones. So we're now at part 3, and I'll be continuing sharing pitfalls and lessons learned from amazing early retirees. By doing so, we too can figure out ahead of time how to avoid or prepare for these pitfalls later on, whether that's for early retirement or traditional retirement. Okay, so up first, we have the awesome YouTuber Jean Voronkova, who retired at 38 with her hubby Vitaly. Now, Jean used to be a lawyer in Singapore until she decided to quit and become a surfing and yoga instructor in Vietnam and Bali. They now live a simple life in Bali after reaching their goal of getting to $1,800 in passive income per month. So one of the lessons they learn in their first few years is, people might take advantage of your free time. So when they retired early, they found that they were getting a lot of requests from people they know and random people too. Like asking them to run errands, plan their holidays, tour them around Bali, and so on. Now, of course, they love helping others, their friends and their family, but they said if they said yes to every request, their own time would just vanish. So they had to learn how to say no to some requests as a way to help protect their own time. I suppose for this lesson, one thing we can try to do is to strike a balance. In a way, you kind of have to filter all the requests you might get and only say yes to the ones you feel strongly about. And of course, that filter will be down to your personal preferences. One practical thing you can do in combination is to accomplish the task you wanted to do that day early on, so you can free up time to help others in the remainder of your day. By the way, guys, before we jump over to the next lesson, it's actually raining quite heavily here in Philippines right now. There is a storm passing through, so you might hear the pitter-pattering in the background, but hopefully it's more calming than distracting. Okay, so another lesson that Jean and Vitaly learned was, most money plans are not foolproof. Your money plans in retirement may go sideways, and you need to expect the unexpected. So in their situation, most of their living expenses is funded from real estate income abroad in Europe. In their first 2 years in retirement, they were not expecting for 2 European countries to go to war. This massively affected their real estate investments, and that income stream was disrupted. Fortunately, they found some workarounds and managed to get through it. So the key lesson here is to be aware that your passive income in retirement might get disrupted in some way. If your portfolio is mainly stocks, there may be dips in the market, or you might go through a bear period, which is when prices fall below 20%. If your assets are in property, you might experience issues with tenants and have periods where your units are unoccupied. So some ways you can counter this is by diversifying your portfolio. You might even have a side hustle that you find fulfilling and that also helps with the bills. Another thing you can do is to have a cash buffer to help pay for living expenses, let's say for 6 to 18 months, which should cover the duration of most recessions. Okay, so our next retirees are Alan and Katie Donegan, otherwise known as the Donegans from Rebel Finance School. Now, these guys are awesome. They're from the UK and they retired when Alan was 40 and when Katie was 35. And in 2020, they decided to travel around the world nomadically. Alright, so one of the main lessons they learned when they retired was that reaching FI will not make you happy. When Katie left her corporate career to retire, her initial thoughts was that she was going to be blissfully happy and everything would be all sunshine and rainbows. But what she found was the opposite. She said that if anything, her life got a little bit worse. Because she had all this time to herself, she realised that she used FI, i.e. working a lot, saving, investing, as a distraction from working on herself. Now when she retired, because there was no distractions, she remembered there were things she didn't like about herself, like how she thought, how she behaved, and how she acted. So the main takeaway she mentioned was even if you reached lean fire, fat fire, or even obese fire, that is not what will make you happy. My view is that although our finances are really important, it's just one vertical in life. We also have to work on our other verticals or other parts of our life, like meaningful work, relationships with others, our health, etc. If we focus too much on the finances, we might miss the other important factors in life as well. Okay, so another lesson the Donegans learned was traveling in retirement will not fix your problems. In the 1990s, an author by the name of Jon Kabat-Zinn popularized the phrase, "Wherever you go, there you are." Now, he used this from a mindfulness context, essentially saying happiness comes from within and not from external surroundings. Even if you change your external environment, your internal thoughts and emotions will stay the same. And that's exactly what the Donegans learned. Now, we all have problems and stresses in some way, shape or form, and the Donegans said that they were no different. So when they retired, they decided to travel around the world nomadically to 43 countries. But they realized during their travels that all their problems went with them too. So if we're harboring any issues or anxieties, let's try to tackle them before investing in big trips. That way we can at least try to enjoy our travels. We can try to face our issues head on and not brush them under the carpet or try to escape from them. Now I know that's easier said than done, but what we can do is to pick at problems bit by bit, not in one huge go. As they say, the way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. Okay, so those were the lessons from the amazing creators in our FI community. I hope that's given you some food for thought and will help you on your journey. If you do have any questions or just want to chat, you can DM me on Instagram at freedombeforefi. And by the way, if you're enjoying the show, feel free to drop a 5-star rating on your podcast player app and click follow for more tips on enjoying the journey to FI. Have a great rest of the week, and as always, practice gratitude, live life by your design, and do things that make you smile. You got this.